comment. This is a hot topic in department. This and levy of VAT on service tax. These two, most of the members must be facing this problem while assessing assessment of the dealer. So here, suppose your dealer has raised including composition sum bill, then whether while calculating tax liability, deductions toward that composition sum would be available or not. Unlike Rule 58, there is a provision that you can, under normal method or under table method, there is no issue. If they raise the bill including tax, then as per the provision of Rule 57(1), it is available. You can apply backward formula, say 1,08,000 multiplied by rate upon 100 plus R. You exclude tax amount and charge on net amount. So under normal and table method, no issue. But under composition method, there is a issue. Debate is going on. Department is not allowing. Why? Because here issue is arise. If you look at Rule 57(1), the wordings, it has created a problem. Wordings are deductions towards sales tax will be available from total sales value. The word is sales tax. And under section 2, definition of tax, they have included, they have said tax means sales tax, purchase tax and composition sum. But here, because of the word sales tax, department is saying no, here the word is composition sum is not there, we will not grant you deduction, so you have to pay tax on tax. So instead of 1 lakh, you have to pay 1,08,000. But according to me, it is wrong. There are judgments, Anand Swarup Mahesh Kumar, 46 STC 477, and our own tribunal larger bench judgment, Pentilier India, SA number 1053 to 1056, decided on 8 May 2009. Though it was in relation with the old Works Contract Act, and we are aware that under old WCT Act also there was a composition scheme. So in that also our larger benches hold that deductions towards composition sum should be available, and according to me, as on today also, we can take help of that judgment and we should take deduction of composition sum and discharge your liability on net amount. Similarly, whether composition sum should be paid on service tax or not. Say my total value is 1 lakh plus 8,000 is my composition sum and plus say 12,360 service tax rate assumed. That is my total. So whether my composition sum should pay including service tax or only on basic. This debate is also presently going on in the department. Even our Honorable Commissioner has also given the DDQ in the case of Sujata Painters, decided on 28 June 2012, and our own tribunal has also given verdict in the case of Nikhil Comforts, SA number 30 of 2010, decided on 31/3/2012. In both, it was hold that on service tax VAT would be applicable, but still, with due respect to Honorable Commissioner and tribunal, according to me, this is wrong. Because as far as my knowledge is concerned, dealer should be hold liable to pay VAT only on those amount which comes to his pocket. See, service tax never goes to his pocket. It is just a collection on behalf of the government. He is collecting and paying to the government. So according to me, VAT should not be payable on that service tax amount. Here also same Anand Swarup Mahesh Kumar, the same judgment would be helpful to us. 46 STC 472 and Bata India Limited. Both judgment will helpful to us, and we should argue with the department and not accept that we should pay VAT on service tax. You must be aware that below the table, that is under Rule 58 and 58(1) and Section 42(3), which is in relation with the composition scheme, correct? They have added the explanation. What explanation is saying? That the deductions towards subcontract should be the quantum of price on which tax is paid by the subcontractor, if any, and the quantum of tax separately charged by the contractor if the contract provides for separate charging of tax, or the aggregate value of the goods on which tax is paid. Here also, in some of the other lecture, I come across that there is some misunderstanding in the minds of the member. Take a case, your contract is 1 lakh worth of rupees. You subcontracted 60,000 value to subcontractor basis, and from that 60,000 his material consumption was say 35,000. So he has paid the tax on that 35,000. So here the misconception in the minds of member that the wording is what? The deduction towards subcontract should be the quantum of price on which tax is paid by the subcontractor. So there is a misconception, though my subcontract value is 60,000, but I have paid the tax on 35,000, so I should be entitled for 35,000, but this is not the case. Here, dealer is entitled to claim on 60,000, that is the value of subcontract. Because when your subcontractor is not being held liable to pay on labor and service, how can you be liable for labor and service? So here one thing you have to keep it in your mind, that the value of subcontract would be deduction and not the portion on which he has paid the tax. That you have to take a call or keep it in your mind while conducting VAT audit. I also got a question from some of the members, how to represent or how to present in return while filing the return. Say for example, my total contract value is 10 lakh. I have charged 8%, say 80,000. I have given subcontract worth rupees 8 lakh, and he has charged me 8%, say 64,000. So how to represent in the return? That also query came to me. So that's why, for the benefit of you all, I have given practically how to put up in your return or your VAT audit report. You have to take your total contract value is 10 lakh 80,000. From that, means 10 lakh is your total contract value, add composition, that is 10 lakh 80,000. From that, subcontract value with tax, subcontract value with tax you have to deduct. If you will deduct only 8 lakh, then you may find a problem of excess tax collection. This problem so many members are facing. So this way you have to present in your VAT audit report 10 lakh 80 lakh 8 lakh 64,000. So you will get 2 lakh 16,000, less tax collection 16,000, and net taxable is 2 lakh. So this way you have to present in your audit report.
Sir, one thing, can you go to the previous slide? If suppose we show in this manner excess tax collection, because in tax collected we will show 80,000 and
that's why I am telling you, no? I have not shown tax collection 18,000 and tax collection 16,000 दिखाने का.
Okay.
Total contract value is 10 lakh 80,000. उसमें tax collection 16,000 दिखाने का आपको. Because deduction we are taking 8 lakh 64,000. ये problem I am aware. This problem are facing by so many members. That's why I have given this practical example. You are aware that for was contract which return is applicable? 233, correct? Here also in some of the case dealer are having both type of activity, trading and was contract. So might have seen that instead of in that case dealer must file 233 in those months where there is a was contract. You might have known that dealer might have filed 231 in some of the cases. Then you should advise your client to revise in the correct form. Correct? So in trading and was contract, if both activities are there in a particular month, in that month dealer should file return in 233 and not 231. Both the turnover and not separately. कि trading के लिए 231 भरा, इसके लिए 233. I think that will not permit. That will not permit. Now construction contract. This meaning of construction or definition of construction contract was also not there in the enactment. That also came into force from 28 June 2006. Prior to that, we all are aware that we were taking the help of the clarification given by the department in case of amnesty scheme. पहले जो amnesty scheme was contract में आया था तभी construction contract का definition और clarification दिया था what is construction. We were taking help of that. But on 28 June 2006, they provided the definition of construction by way of notification. What it means? Contract for construction of building, roads, runway, bridges, dams, etc. So, if your dealer is doing any type of contract which is following under this definition, then only you can call it as a construction contract. Just simple, don't be under impression कि civil work है तो ये मेरा construction. समझो wall बनाया तो though it is a civil but it's not a construction contract. So this thing you have to keep it in your mind. Don't just allow your dealer चलो 5% चलेगा allow करो. Don't do that. You should have a knowledge. You should read construction contract definition. If your dealer's contract is falling under that particular definition, then only construction contract would be eligible for 5%. Besides this, there is an explanation added to the definition of construction. This is a beneficial explanation. What it speaks about: any works contract, incidental or ancillary to the contracts mentioned in paragraph A, means the main contracts above, if such works contracts are awarded and executed before the completion of the said contract. It means what? Suppose the dealer has given civil work to X person and that work is going on, and besides that he has given painting contract to somebody else, plumbing contract, electrification, etc. And all such contracts, not only it is required that it should have been awarded before the completion of the main contract. Main contract is what? Construction of a building. That is main contract. Before it gets completed, the dealer should have awarded other contract like plumbing, painting, electrification, etc. Not only awarded, it should have been completed, executed before completion of the building. How can you decide completion? Maybe PMC certificate, CC or architect certificate. Based on that, you can take a call whether the main contract is completed or not. Then and then only you are entitled to get the liability at the rate of 5%. We come across a situation, no doubt nowadays RMC, ready mix concrete concept is there everywhere. So there is a separate identity, separate rate of tax on that. But still there are some contractors who are following indigenous method, like they are bringing cement, sand, metal, etc. They bring at the site, then they mix and then they prepare a concrete, and ultimately concrete transfer or they apply to the property of the contractee. Correct? So material purchase are cement, sand, etc. and property gets transferred in the form of concrete. So here our understanding is what? You have to pay the tax on those items in which form property gets transferred. So here our general, on the basis of our general understanding, we decide if a concrete is being transferred, the rate of concrete should be applied. But there is one old judgment, NL Mehta 61 STC 362, our Bombay High Court judgment. In that it was hold that mixing of cement, sand and other materials etc. for making concrete does not amount to manufacture. And according to my knowledge, still that judgment holds good as on today. If you were doing the practice under old works contract or act, you might have remembered there was one process. They were given the notified process, because under old works contract act, if the goods were purchased and used in the same form, there was no tax liability. If it was not used, then only tax liability was there. So at that time, in 14 January 1994, the legislature has issued one notification to prescribe various processes. If you are applying that any of the process, and if your material is being transferred in that process, it was to be treated as a used in the same form. And one of the process was this: mixing of cement, sand, other material, etc. for making concrete. So at that time also our state government took into the consideration NL method and they grant deduction. So as on today also, according to me, though final property gets transferred in the form of concrete, but still you can apply the rate individually, cement, sand or other material. When contract price is consolidated, this issue I have taken that your terms of the contract, the price is 1. Say construction of 2-story building is 1 crore, but at the back of the contract annexures are given. See, I have got some of the live clients in that what their contract is instructing, they give the annexure, BOQ, ये XYZ item, this much quantity, rate, amount, this much is the labor. Then even they have to raise the bill also based on BOQ. कितना material गया, कितना VAT, कितना labor गया, service tax. But still, terms of the contract plays very important role, and according to me, still it is a works contract. It is an indivisible contract. Though in annexure breakup is given, still it is a provision of WCT to TDS would apply. One issue, another issue, when builder himself construct the building, instead of giving on contract basis, he himself construct the building, and then he gives various contracts like plumbing, painting, etc. Whether that all such various contracts can be falling under the explanation of the construction contract definition, any other incidental or ancillary contract. There is a judgment of Voltas Limited, though unfortunately because of lack of production of certain documentation, it was not argued or it was not produced, and in that the argument of the Honorable Commissioner was that since builder himself construct the building, there is no question of main contract, that is a construction of building on contract basis. So based on that, they have not granted, they have not allowed the incidental contract as a construction contract. You may go through that Voltas Limited judgment, DDQ. Suppose in building is already constructed, you may come across and repair job is given. Repair job is given, or some construction of a gate and all that thing is given. Your main building is constructed. Whether will it fall come under as a construction contract? No. Here also, just don't be under impression civil work है तो construction contract आ गया. No. You have to see, to fall under construction contract, you have to thorough with the definition of construction contract and its explanation. Don't apply in general कि civil work है या wall बनाया तो मेरा construction contract हो गया. No. So then in that case 8% liability would be there. Similarly, like repair work, I have already said, but suppose slum rehabilitation project wherein some new floors have been constructed, say those 2-story buildings are there and 2 more story have been constructed. Then the old building was repaired. Whether this total will be construction contract? No. Only for the 2-story which is being constructed new, that will only call it as a construction contract. The repair work which was being done on the old 2-floor building, that will not come under the construction contract. Input credit, we are aware, under table method and under normal method, purchase is made from Maharashtra where tax has been charged separately, set off would be available. But in case of composition scheme, if you are falling, your dealer is falling under 8% composition scheme, then set off will be reduced by 36%. Suppose total set off is say 10,000 rupees, then 36% would be retained and the rest would be allowable by virtue of rule 53 sub rule 4. And if it is a construction contract wherein you are discharging your liability at the rate of 5%, then retention of set off would be 4%. So clear? You might be facing when material supplied by the principal or contractee and that value of that material supplied forms part of the contract price. This you might be come across in the case of government contract like PWD and all that thing. वहाँ पे normally ऐसे construction of a building का contract रहता है, but they supply cement and steel will be supplied by the contractee, but that will form part of the contract price. So here the issue would come whether the that value of material which was supplied by the contractee and which forms part of the contract price, whether it amounts to sale or purchase or not. There is direct judgment. Supreme Court N.M. Goyal and Company 1989-72 STC 368. There is a direct judgment on this. In that judgment it was told that if such is the situation, if that supply of material by the contractee form parts of the contract price, then it is nothing but the sales made by the contractee to the contractor and purchase in the hands of the contractor. So please take care, because here if your contractee is not registered, assume, so they don't have the TIN number, so even though you issue invoice for that, you can't get input credit. Then there is a question of double taxation. Correct? Because when contractor will purchase, he will also pay the tax, and again since it becomes a part of the total contract value, again contractor is liable. So in such a case, you may advise your client either to give free supply. It should not form part of the contract price. But if such is the case, then liability would be there. One important section also we have to keep it in your mind, section 57. We rarely refer this, but it has very vital impact on the transaction. See, this provision speaks about, say take a case, suppose the dealer has entered into a contract, say some contract, and by making some separate arrangement, either they modify the agreement or some part of the contract they modify in such a fashion that because of that there is a reduction in tax liability or there is a avoidance of tax liability. If such is the case, then Commissioner has got power to treat this transaction as taxable and he can recover the tax. This section normally we hardly refer this, but it has got very vital impact, so please take care of section 57. As a auditor under VAT audit form 704, we know VAT audit report, but specifically under works contract, normal we all know schedule everything, but specifically for works contract, schedule 3 is important for you to be filled up. Correct? Annexure C, it is in respect of TDS certificate received. Annexure D, TDS certificate issued. And one more point, you may come across in some of the case, dealer has not received the TDS certificate, correct? But sale was took place in the say 12-13 मार्च में सेल्स बिल इशू किया, उसने WCT TDS डिडक्ट भी कर दिया, and you got the certificate in the month of July. So according to me, if we refer section 31 subsection 4, if you read that section, what it speaks that the dealer may claim the credit of WCT TDS certificate in the month in which certificate was received. Wordings are in the month in which certificate of TDS deducted is received. But this amendment came on 28 June 2006. Prior to 28 June 2006, the wordings were shall. It was compulsory. It was compulsory in that earlier it was provided that you have to claim in the month in which the TDS certificate was deducted because of the word shall. But now because of the word may, though the wordings are in the month in which certificate was received, but according to me, because of the word may, it can be claimed. It may be claimed either in the month in which your TDS was deducted, though you received certificate late. But no doubt here now, as you know, in E-era, cross-matching, cross-checking department have now good tool कि आपने एनेक्सर सी भरा तो सामने वाले का डी मैच होता है कि नहीं, अगर नहीं हुआ तो then they will desell and again you have to then give reconciliation and all that thing. So these also you have to take care and you have to discuss with your client whether the opposite party is going to show it in which year. Otherwise you will face the problem of mismatch. It will be allowed, but you may face the problem of mismatch. Correct? So in those cases where TDS was deducted and certificate was not received, for that there is no separate table like annexure C or annexure D where to write. So this credit you should not forgo or advise your client abhi nahi milega. No, this credit you have to show it in part 1. Claim this credit in part 1 for those where you have not received, your dealer has not received the WCT TDS certificate. Otherwise what will happen, if you stick and understanding कि भाई जो महीने में certificate मिला है उसमें ही क्लेम करने का, then what will happen कि मार्च में आपने सेल बुक कर दिया, TDS उसने काटा, भरा उसने जुलाई में, तो आपका फाइनेंशियल ईयर चेंज हो गया. सिचुएशन what would be there, आपको 12-13 में you have to pay tax from your pocket. It will not take the credit and 13-14 में refund. So you can take help of the word may under section 31(4) and claim the credit in the month in which TDS was deducted. Builders and developers, those Supreme Court has pronounced in the case of L&T and other study circle meeting was also held by our association. And as on today also, still it is not clear to me also. So not today because this topic itself is a big topic. So I am not touching upon much upon builders, but in general, because of this wording of L&T, we know that now liability would arise. But as far as my knowledge is concerned, 12-13 I don't think we will face the problem. This all problem is prior to 31/3/2010. 1/4-10 के बाद में तो according to me 99.9% everybody is discharging 1%. Majority. So 12-13 I don't think even the Supreme Court judgment will come into hurdle to us. Even Rule 58(1)(a) also land deductions, it was available, but in 1% composition this question does not arise. But because of this judgment also now, according to me now, the government should come out the method for deduction. Okay, land deduction case. I mean there are so many issues in builder. Composition scheme, I say any agreement which is registered on or after 1/4/2010, they can go for 1% composition scheme. But if agreement is registered prior to that, you see to the date of agreement as well as its registration. The words are agreement registered. So you have to take care while doing the audit, and if it is registered on or after 1/4/2010, then only 1% would be available. Under 1% also keep it in your mind, though it is an old contract, because building एक दिन में तो खड़ा नहीं होने वाला है, 3 years 4 years. There might be a situation कि suppose building construction started in 2008, agreement for sale entered in say 11th May 2010. So it is falling under that. But from 2008 till 2010, dealer might have claimed the set off. Dealer might have claimed the set off on that purchases. So that should be reversed, because under 1% composition you can't claim any input credit. That is not permissible. Even OMS purchase is also not allowable under 1% composition. So this factor as a VAT auditor you have to keep it in your mind, whether is there any contravention or not, because the value of the property is huge. If you miss or if there is a contravention, then liability also will be huge, and accordingly you will also come under the trouble that you have not taken utmost care or negligence may come in your part. Redevelopment. This is also a hot issue in the market. Majority of the projects are under redevelopment. Here also you may come across suppose there are 100 old tenants, and builder has entered into an agreement whereby we will give you in exchange of your old tenants new place. So for that they have constructed two buildings, one for the old tenant and one for sale to outside customer. Correct? Here the question may come whether in exchange the new flat has been given in exchange of old flat, whether is there any VAT liability or not. According to me, there will not be any liability because there is no monetary consideration. It is a barter. Another point may come. आपने जो कंस्ट्रक्शन किया ओल्ड बिल्डिंग एंड न्यू बिल्डिंग, करेक्ट? ओल्ड बिल्डिंग में भी जो भी मटेरियल परचेज या व्हाटएवर इट में भी इट हैज गॉन, न्यू बिल्डिंग में भी है. अभी आपका लायबिलिटी ऑफ वैट वुड अराइज इन केस ऑफ न्यू बिल्डिंग व्हिच यू आर गोइंग टू सेल टू द ओल्ड कस्टमर, न्यू कस्टमर. whether the cost of the old building which you have incurred for old tenant to whom you have given free, whether cost of the old tenant can be available as a deductions or input credit would be available against the sale value of new building. You might be coming this type of situation, whether it is according to me, though it is debatable, but according to me, no, that cost will not be available for old tenant, whatever cost you incurred. But one school of thought is also saying that unless and until you have incurred that cost, you would have not entitled for new building. So both arguments are possible. But from my view, you can't claim the cost for old tenant. As a VAT auditor, two negative rule is applicable in case of host contract. That also you need to keep it in your mind while conducting audit. That is Rule 54G and Rule 54H. Rule 54G speaks about whenever a dealer purchase any goods purchased by way of host contract which results into an immovable property. I will explain with the help of a practical example. Suppose I am a manufacturer. I have given contract to construct my factory building. Plant and machinery, forget about that. Because under both the rules, they will exclude plant and machinery. If it is a plant and machinery, this rule will not be applicable. But if it is not a plant and machinery, only factory building or staff building, say take a staff building or office administration building, he has given contract to the contractor whereby you construct this. And value is say 2 crore. That contractor has constructed my office admission building. He charged me 2 crore plus he levy 8% composition since 16 lakh and raised me below 2 crore 16 lakhs. Whether that 16 lakh composition sum charged by the contractor will be available as an input credit to the manufacturer or not? According to me, no. To that dealer, Rule 54G will hit. Because that construction of a building is nothing but purchase by way of host contract which results into an immovable property. So your contract falls under Rule 54G and dealer is not entitled for input credit. So in VAT audit case you have to take care कि dealer ने claim किया है कि नहीं in this type of transaction. Rule 54H speaks about purchases of any goods by a dealer. The property in which is not transferred, whether as a goods or some other form to any other person, which are used in the erection of immovable property other than plant and machinery. In the said case, suppose manufacturer himself brings all the material and higher labor charges, then Rule 54H would hit because it is for self-consumption. Because whatever purchase of material, it is not being transferred to third party. That's why Rule 54H will hit.